Now, let me give you a real simple test to help you understand. Does cancer add to your life, or does it take? It takes. It takes your health, it takes your time, it takes your money, it takes your family. Sickness takes, and therefore it fails the test of James chapter 1, verse 17. If it comes from God, it's going to add to your life. It's going to be good for you. It's going to be beneficial. It's going to mature you, complete you, perfect you. What comes from God is maturing, it is completing, it is perfecting. All sickness takes, it fails the test. Disaster takes, it fails the test. But if it comes from God, it's good for you, it's beneficial, it's maturing, it's completing, and it is perfecting. That's what God gives every time. That's what the word gift means. The Greek word dosis, which describes what God habitually does. Wow, isn't this amazing? What else does verse 17 say? It says, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. Now he's speaking in comparative terms. What comes from above as opposed to what comes from below. From below, you may receive damage, destruction, ruin, but from above, you're going to receive something good, something beneficial, completing, maturing, perfecting. And then he says, and comes down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. I love this phrase, cometh down. In Greek, it is the word katabino. It's a compound of two words. The word kata describes something that comes down so hard, it's dominating, or it is subjugating. The word bino means to step down. It's the same word you would use to describe stepping down a flight of stairs. But when you compound the two words together, it means to come down. But because the prefix is the word kata, it's something that's coming down very hard. It's coming down so hard, it's dominating, it is subjugating. And in fact, cometh down, the Greek word katabino, was used in secular literature of the first century to describe a downpour or a downpour of rain. Have you ever been in a downpour of rain? When the rain is coming down so hard, you're dominated by it, you're subjugated by it. I grew up in the state of Oklahoma, and we used to really have downpours. And when we were driving on the road, the rain would come down so hard and so heavy, you couldn't even see the taillights on the car in front of you. You couldn't see the road in front of you. You had to pull over and wait for the rain to let up, because when that kind of rain is coming down, you're dominated, you're subjugated by it. That is the word which now James uses in verse 17 to describe how many good and perfect gifts God is sending our way. God is sending so many good and perfect gifts our way. His intention is to dominate us with goodness. A downpour of good and perfect gifts. That's what God wants for me, and that's what God wants for you. That's who He is. That's what He does. You say, well, wait a minute. If God is pouring good and perfect gifts all around me, why am I not occasionally hit by one of them? Well, you have to receive it by faith. In fact, Hebrews chapter 2 tells us we need to give more earnest heed to what we've heard, lest at any time those promises would slip us by. You've got to take them by faith. If you've got your mind in the gutter and you think God has orchestrated your problem, then you're not waiting to receive the goodness of God. You've got your mind and your thinking in the wrong place. But when you renew your mind to God's goodness and you're looking up and you're waiting for His goodness, then your faith is in a position to say, I'll take that gift, I'll take that gift, I'll take that gift, and you become a receiver of the goodness of God. You've got to renew your mind to right thinking. And James says every good and perfect gift is coming down like a constant downpour, a shower of goodness to dominate us, to subjugate us from the Father of lights, as opposed to what comes from the Father of darkness. And then he adds these words, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. In Greek, when it says with whom, it's the word paru. The word par is from para, which means alongside, which means if you could get right alongside of God, para, if you could come right alongside of Him as close as you can get to God and look right into His face, look right into His eyes, you would find on this subject of what God always, always, always gives and what God never, never, never gives, there is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. Now, what in the world does that phrase mean? No variableness, neither shadow of turning. Well, these words together were used technically to describe a Roman sundial. Have you ever seen a Roman sundial? A Roman sundial tells us what time of the day it is. As the sun moves, as the planet moves, the shadows continually are shifting, they're changing. Every time you look at the sundial, the shadow is in a different spot. Now James uses this illustration to tell us God is not like a Roman sundial. On the issue of what he gives and never gives, he's not moving all the time. It's a fixed statement. It is a fixed action. God never moves. There's no variableness. There's no shadow of turning, which means you don't need to stop and think when tragedy comes. Now, I wonder this time if this is from God or whether this is from the devil. I wonder if God is trying to teach me through this tragedy or whether this is from the enemy. You don't even have to stop and ask that question.